Hi there, public internet.
Bing bang.
First of all, I'm gonna start by saying I look motherfucking sexy right now. The collarbone is giving. We're giving off the shoulder. The hair, is she a bit aged? Yes, she is, but she's still giving what she needs to give. The skin, it's getting better. It is. Okay. Listen, on camera, it's not exactly the best, but trust me, in real life, my skin is like flourishing. Like, if my skin has never been so smooth in my life. Today's basically the conversation is going to be, she does not have to pick you, women. And here's the thing, a lot of you Negroes are going to get very triggered by this. But think about this. The truth will piss you off first, but then it will set you free. So rather than being angry at me, how about you be self-reflexive and actually work on yourself as a human being? Mwah. This is kind of going to be put into sections in order to kind of make it easier, because I want to try it out in terms of my editing and kind of the way I structure my videos, because, you know, we're still beginning. We're still doing, you know, the little things that we got to do and stuff like that with our 54 subscribers, which I appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you very much for tuning in. And if you do tune in, absolutely, I appreciate you being able to do that for me, and it genuinely does mean a lot. The first thing I want to talk about is the entitlement of men. When I talk about men's entitlement, I think we misconstrued that with the male ego. When I was thinking about the male ego in itself, I researched it and I was kind of looking at it, because then it's hard for me to like read books and shit like that. So it's easier for me to do things based off of videos and stuff like that. Kind of in my research in terms of videos and stuff, the only thing I really found when it came to the male ego was kind of this Andrew Tate mentality, this kind of men sitting around, you know, in a podcast chatting shit about women and stuff like that, and these very hyper femininity, how to keep a man, all of those kind of things, videos. And honestly, what I kind of come to the conclusion is that the male ego is a social construct. Everybody has an ego. Men are not the only ones who have an ego. But however, the male ego is the one that is put at the most forefront because men feel an entitlement. They feel as though, and they've been raised to feel as though they're entitled to something from women. And this comes mainly from this old patriarchal ideas from way back in society, when women weren't able to buy a house, women weren't able to do a job. Like, women had to depend on a man. As a woman, at one point, you had to look at a man based on the material things that he could provide, because you did not have those material things at all, and you did not have access to those material things, point blank, period. And this kind of developed this whole idea of the male ego, and the idea that being a man is solely enough. You don't need anything else. But however, we have transitioned way past that as a society, and now, honestly, women are self-sufficient, and it scares a lot of men, and they don't know how to handle a woman who is not even just self-sufficient, but also has a personality and has a sense of identity. Those things together, it's terrifying for men, because then they have to sit there and be like, okay, I can no longer impress you with a car. I can't impress you with how much money I can make. I can't impress you with this. I can't impress you with that. Instead, how I actually have to impress you is by being a decent human being. And I've never had to do that before. That's the facts. Don't argue with me, go argue with your dad. But yes, it's 110% true in when we talk about how men feel entitled and feel like they're owed something from women, and in particular women's bodies. 110%. I think that men don't understand the concept of self-loathing. I think men feel self-loathing and men feel low self-esteem, but however, they do not understand that concept, or they don't seem to be able to understand that concept, because a lot of times men have kind of been brought up to kind of been taught that, oh yeah, you're a man, you don't really need to feel any emotions, like that's a woman's thing, you know what I mean? Even the idea that emotions in itself is an impractical thing. When a woman is feeling something, and when a woman has a reaction to something that's an emotional reaction, what's the first thing that's always said? Oh my god, she's being emotional. Yes, of course she's being emotional, because a situation is happening to her that is going to produce an emotion. What the heck? There's this very common borderline sociopathic mindset when it comes to men and emotions, and that is very dangerous in terms of their sense of selves and their sense of identities. We're now in this stage in society where it's okay, men have shifted from, you know, wanting to have the biggest bank account and and stuff like that, to now portraying themselves as nice guys and trying to create a false sense of comfortability for women, rather than actually being a nice guy and actually making a woman feel comfortable in order to kind of, I guess, sleep with a woman. Like, It seems these days the only thing that goes through men's head is just pussy. I can't lie. There's nothing else that's really going on up here. There's no thoughts. There's no critical thinking. There is nothing. I'm not going to say all men, but however, a majority of you are exactly like that. And it's quite concerning. You know what I mean? You guys don't know how to be emotionally available. And that is a massive issue. And back to the whole thing of entitlement. You are not entitled to anything. A woman does not owe you anything. A woman does not owe you reciprocity. She doesn't, point blank, period. This mentality that nice guys finish last. This mentality that I paid for dinner, let's have sex. I did this, we need to have sex. You are not entitled to a woman. You do not own a woman. There is a way to do things. Doing things out of kindness is still a good thing. You know that, right? It's okay to want to do things because you want to do them, not because you're trying to gain something out of it, because that then only breeds transactional relationships. Men, you are looking for a transactional relationship, and then you get that transactional relationship and you complain that you have a transactional relationship. This next part is basically fear of rejection turns into projection. And here's the thing. When you are entitled and when your whole life you have been told that I am a man and I don't need to develop anything beyond that. I am a man and I do not need to develop anything beyond having a bank account, beyond having a car, beyond having material needs, beyond having the biggest dick. Brethren, you forget that you are neglecting your emotion and your soul and your spirituality. You're neglecting in focusing so much on your material and your external. You neglect your mind and your spirituality. And when those things are neglected, you become the worst version of yourself. Point blank, period. The external can look good and all of that, but if the internal does not match, there is no point. And rather than sitting there and being critical and thinking to yourself that, why am I so desperate to chase these things? It's because of a lot of times it comes from a fear of rejection. You feel as though if you don't have X, Y, and Z in your material world, no one is going to love you, or you are not lovable for not having external things. But however, love has nothing to do with the external. True, genuine love has nothing to do with the external. As much as we think it does, it really doesn't. I used to, for a long time, even me, myself as a woman, I can't lie, I had a massive ego. And I don't think the ego is a bad thing. And I think the ego is here to protect us and guide us through the 3D world, which is one that I didn't really understand until now. But however, I do think that an overemphasis and an overfocus on the ego makes you lose hindsight of what is truly important and what truly brings about a genuine and true connection. A lot of men are scared that the woman that they want or the girl that they're pursuing is not going to want them if they don't have the external things to match with it. And the thing is, even when you do have the external things to match with it, babes, she can still not want you. And you know what? That's perfectly okay. Because rather than sitting there and admitting to yourself that this woman not wanting me, I'm not going to lie, it doesn't make me feel good about myself because I personally have low self-esteem and I have a fear of rejection. You then project those emotions onto the woman and you're just like, oh, she clapped anyway, or I never even wanted you, or I never even did this. And you sit there and you berate and chat shit about her. Like, isn't it ironic how men will sit there and say that women gossip, but honestly, the people that chat the most shit about women are men. Y'all even have podcasts dedicated to it. But yet women are the gossipers. Women are the emotional ones. How does that work in your head? I'm emotional because I'm able to express my emotion, but you're not emotional because of the fact that you want to go and berate a woman because she doesn't want you. You're thinking of hate criming someone because she doesn't want you. So I think what we need to start with is understanding, why do you value the external so much? That's so important. If you do not understand why you value the external and why you value your ego more than anything else, Bridget, you're not going to take any leaps and any steps to actually finding true, genuine connection with people. Point blank, period. Because when I was only valuing and thinking solely, I do think, don't get me wrong, I do think it's okay to want external things. You know what I mean? Like, I literally said, like, the fucking Marilyn Monroe quote is that, like, having a woman liking a man for his money is like a man liking a woman because she's pretty. You may not want her because she's pretty, but my God, does it not help? Why wouldn't you want a pretty bitch? Of course you would want a pretty bitch. It'd be so fucking ignorant for us to sit there and neglect the fact that the external doesn't matter. But however, the problem is when the external is the only thing that matters. That's where the projection comes in. Point blank period. Now for this section, it's going to get a bit darker because I think it's very important for us to discuss kind of the R-word culture and abusive culture that we have in society towards women. And again, this goes back to what I was saying of men being entitled. Men need to understand that when a woman doesn't want you, whether it is a reflection of your character or whether it's not a reflection of your character, both are perfectly okay. Both are perfectly fine. Because I can't lie, if someone rejects me and I have, don't get me wrong, I face a lot of rejection. I face a shit ton of rejection. I face some rejection. Kinda, I get rejected and stuff like that, and it happens, and it doesn't make you feel good about yourself. But I'm not gonna lie, rather than sitting there and devaluing myself or devaluing that person, I'm trying to learn how to kind of be more self-reflective. It's like, okay, this person rejected me, that's fair enough. Maybe there was a reason, and maybe I'm just not the person that they are looking for. And you know what? That's okay. I don't have to be the person you're looking for. I really don't. If I'm not meeting your criteria, you have every right to have those criteria. You have every right to have those standards. Men are not the only ones who can have standards. Y'all forgot that. Women can also have standards. Remember, we don't need you to be self-sufficient. We can do that ourselves. So now we have standards. Like for me personally, the kind of person I'm looking for is, are you going to be a great father? If I have a child with you, am I going to actually proudly say that this is my child's father? And also, if I am able to run a business with you, because I can't lie, we live in a capitalist society, and when money gets introduced into relationships, it could fuck everything up. If I cannot trust that I can run a business with you, if I cannot trust that I can proudly say to people that this is the father of my child, I don't want you. But you know what it is? That has nothing to do with you. That has everything to do with me and my own standards. So rather than becoming an incel and sitting there and shooting up the school, or sitting there and becoming a Ted Bundy because, in your manifesto, some girl in fucking 8th grade fucking rejected you, and now you're gonna carry that into your 40-year-old life. Some girl in 6th form rejected you, and you're 25 and you're still thinking about it. Are you not ashamed? But women are emotional, right? But yeah, instead of kind of having those very, very toxic and very dangerous mentalities that end up making a lot of women so uncomfortable, sometimes getting women killed, sometimes traumatizing women to its fullest extent. It's what saddens me so much is that there's so many women who their core trauma is from men. 97%, remember, their core trauma is from men. We forget that. We forget that patriarchy doesn't just uphold men to a certain standard. Patriarchy also actively promotes the traumatization of women. Sometimes sometimes as a woman, it's like, for me, I find it hard. And I used to find it hard to reject men because whenever a guy would come up to me and a guy would move to me and stuff like that, rather than uphold, straight up telling him no, I would sit here and I would make excuses and I would beat around the bush just in hopes that you would eventually leave me alone, rather than being upfront with you and telling you that I'm not interested. Can you please leave me alone? You are harassing me. Because I'm not gonna lie, I was fucking terrified. What the hell will you do? My first thought when it comes to rejecting people is not, I appreciate it, but I'm good on that. Which it is now, thank God. I've moved way past that mentality. You know what I mean? I've gotten the confidence to actually be able to be like, I'm good on you, but I appreciate it. Bridget, I remember I was at the club the other day. When I tell you, every single dude, I said, nope, 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 leave me alone. I was dodging and weaving. I said, I'm good. I just came here to dance. Leave me alone. It's very frustrating when you're literally trying to be out with your friends and you literally have a man after man after man after man after man keep on trying to move to you, and you're like, Bridget, you see me here having fun. Why are you coming to kill my vibe? This mentality that because you felt rejected by a woman, you feel as though that she has devalued herself as a human being, or in your eyes that she no longer has value as a human being because she doesn't want you. That's a very, very huge level of entitlement. And a lot of men need to reflect on themselves, reflect on their own ideology, reflect on their kind of upbringing. You know, when your upbringing has constantly, you know what it is? Glorilla said it best. She said, when you have always been told that you are the strongest, you turn out the weakest. And it's facts. Facts. When your ego is constantly being stroked, when you have always been praised all your life for your manhood, for this, for having the biggest muscles, for being this, for having that, when you have only and solely been praised for your external, it does not build a strong character. It builds a very weak person. It does. Now, I think there's another video I would love to do on this, because I think the idea of the male ego also makes a lot of men susceptible to manipulation, but I think that's a separate video in itself, and yeah, we're gonna do that another day. But so far, kind of, this is overall what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to get across, that rejection from a woman, number one, it has nothing to do with you as a person, and if it does have anything to do with you as a person, that's okay as well. You're not the only one in this world who has a standard. You're not the only one in this world who is allowed to, you know, have certain criteria that you would want the person that you are looking for to fit. So this is kind of the video in all. I hope I've communicated myself in the best way possible, because this is the second time I'm doing this video, and I think my communication is a lot better. I'm practicing. And the lighting is a lot better, definitely. We are in a new environment, but of course, this is not going to be a permanent environment, because let's be real with Simi. She's always moving about all the time. Listen, in the words of Miley Cyrus, I was born to run. I don't belong to anyone. I don't need to be loved by you. Yes. If you're a new person watching this, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. You should subscribe, join the gang. We are fun. We are unhinged. And we are very big brain over here. And if you are someone that I do know that is watching this, why are you not subscribed? What a waste of your time, my love. You do understand I still get the view counts from when you watch. You know what it is? It's the fact that my videos are literally being sent to whole ass group chats, but no one is subscribing. Why, babes? If you're going to be invested in my life this much to send it into the group chat, please subscribe. What are you doing? What a waste of your time. Damn. But yes, as always, we just won't talk about it. Goodbye.